Welcome back to the channel. Make sure my audio is right. Everything can kind of come through. Hope everybody's having a good night for what it is. It's almost 1 a.m. here, but that's okay. Somebody gonna be here anyway. If it's one of y'all, 10 of y'all, 2 of y'all, I appreciate every single one of y'all who's gonna tap in tonight. It is your boy, the Hip Hop Lobbyist, tapping in from, I would say, Just Politics Studios. Making sure I'm live. I can hear myself. Yeah, all right, good. I can hear myself. We're good. Listen, it's been a beautiful, beautiful day, beautiful evening. Had an okay playoff run with the homies. I'm a gamer as well, so you can check me out on Capital Gaming on YouTube. It's my official gaming channel. But listen, these Epstein files are going to shake and rock the boat. One I think Democrats realize. And we're going to see some of that tonight. I already have some Stacey Plaskett's interview that we kind of touched on earlier today on CNN. Going to start that fresh, to get a whole perspective on that interview. Also, make sure I'm centered in the camera. My girl Jasmine Crockett. And also some other news. I saw that there's some legislators filed some bills regarding banning members of Congress from texting. Trump is also looking to sign an executive order overriding states' ability to ban or outlaw AI. That'll be interesting because states like Illinois have passed some regulations regarding those things. So it's a lot. On top of states preparing to deploy their state legislative calendars and priorities, appropriations, and things of that nature. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what comes of everything. But I'm going to start here with Stacey Plaskett on Wolf Blitzer. We were watching a bit of this earlier, so if you happen to tap in, we didn't finish because there was something live happening. But regardless, let's get into Stacey Plaskett and see where we're going from here tonight, man. Appreciate y'all tapping in again. Wait, let me get to the right window.
Well, first I want to thank the Democrats, the Democratic caucus, not only for voting with me, but for speaking on my behalf during the general debate, as well as those members in the Republican Party who voted with the Democrats and those who tacitly voted with us by either voting present or not voting at all during the censure. And I'm hopeful that we can now get back to the work that we do in Congress rather than the political theater that has been happening. The files have been released, which I have been in favor of all along. And let's let the victims get their justice and let us get to the work of Congress. We've been on over a 70-day paid time off. Democrats have been doing town halls, coming back to Congress. Republicans have been nowhere in sight. And the people of this country are in need of our support and of the work that needs to be done.
We know that Epstein had property in the Virgin Islands, right?
Yes.
What was your relationship with Epstein?
So Jeffrey Epstein was a constituent. He was a resident of the Virgin Islands, lived there, I guess, more than half of the year because he was registered there. I had received donations from him after the last investigation came out, which was after this texting. I gave any donations that I previously received from him to women's organizations and did not have any contact with him. But like many constituents, individuals get your phone number, they text you about issues, they speak with you. I have spoken with him about issues that are relevant, things that are going on in the Virgin Islands and elsewhere around the country.
Right, but on that day that we're talking about, you initiated the text exchange at 7:55 in the morning. So why were you even texting with Epstein at the time? He was a known sex offender then.
Sure. I explained to people, I've been a prosecutor for many years. And there are a lot of people who have information that are not your friends, that you use to get information to get at the truth. This was 7 years ago, and people need to understand this was a huge hearing that was taking place with Michael Cohen finally coming forward to talk about monies that he had with the hush money, potential hush money that had been paid to Stormy Daniels to keep her quiet about the allegations against Trump. We were entering a hearing. Lots of people were texting me, lots of people were giving me information, and I find it really interesting and almost rich that the Washington Post took 30 seconds, one set of question line that I did, and say that Epstein was directing me as to what to question Michael Cohen. I have 5 minutes of questioning. I had a lot of questions, 20 years of experience that I had at the time, along with other information I was getting from many sources about issues that should have been raised. And I also want to say that the issues that I raised in that hearing related to individuals who were closest to the president and who could know about money has never been looked into.
Right, and we have the full transcript right here. But, you know, no doubt you have an impressive resume, right? You're a former federal prosecutor, you were an impeachment manager. But yes or no, if Epstein had not brought up Rona to you in that text, would you have asked Michael Cohen about her independently?
Probably not. I asked about 3 other individuals as well. Everyone knew, other people knew that this woman had been the president's assistant. I talked about other individuals who were also close to him that other people had given me information about, that I'd found other information about. And there were other issues that I talked with him about as well, Michael Cohen, that I brought up during that time.
Right.
So as a prosecutor, as an investigator, you glean information, get information where you can. Some of it is relevant, some of it is not, and you put it all together and you ask the question.
I think it's only fair from that point to actually go back to that line of question and go to that committee hearing so we can actually go back and see it. So if y'all can check it out, this is Michael Cohen's testimony. Let's check it out.
Your clients with the bat of an eye. Do you stand behind that offer?
If
Hold
the
on.
chairman asks me, and I'll take it under advisement now, and it's not a problem in terms of attorney-client privilege, yes, I will turn it over.
You, as my friend Mr. Meadows pointed out, I said, amen, darling. I can't help it.
In place with the president, 130.
Here we go.
This is an embarrassment for our country.
What is happening? I thought you were just speaking.
I talked to my beautiful wife back in Dripping Springs, Texas, just before the hearing. I said, don't bother. I said, don't.
I've got houses and schools to help rebuild in the Virgin Islands, expansion of voting rights, educational opportunities.
Oh, my bad, Joe.
I said, amen, darling.
I'm
I
about to
can't help
cry.
but think that is what the majority of the American people are thinking while watching this unbelievable circus. I yield back.
Clear, that was a gap.
Ms. Westgate.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've got a lot to do as well. I've got houses and schools to help rebuild in the Virgin Islands, expansion of voting rights, educational opportunities, criminal justice reform. Thank God the Democratic majority can walk and chew gum at the same time. So we're here with you right now. Mr. Cohen, you learned well in the 10 years that you worked with Donald Trump. What was your position with the GOP in the up to 8 months ago?
I was vice chair of the RNC Finance Committee.
You were vice chair of the finance of the Republican National Committee, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I want to say I was a Democrat until Steve Wynn found out I was a Democrat and made me switch parties.
That would be a
Said it
smart
wasn't
thing
right
to
for
do.
a Democrat to be the vice chair.
Good. Let's get to it. I don't only have a little bit of time. On behalf of the many members here who have expressed to your family our apologies to your family, but I want to apologize for the inappropriate comments and tweets that have been made by other members of this body. And as a former prosecutor and as former counsel on House ethics, I think that at the very least there should be a referral to the Ethics Committee of witness intimidation or tampering under USC 1512 of my colleague Matt Gaetz, and it may be possibly him being referred for a criminal prosecution. So I want to put that on the record. On May 2nd, 2018, the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, who was his personal attorney like you, appeared on Fox News and referred to the president's reimbursement to you for the $130 payment for Stephanie Clifford as part of a retainer. And on May 3rd, 2018, one day after Mr. Giuliani's appearance, the president tweeted, and I quote, Mr. Cohen, an attorney, received a monthly retainer not from the campaign and having nothing to do with the campaign, from which he entered into, through reimbursement, a private contract between two parties known as a non-disclosure agreement, or NDA. The Office of Government Ethics, which is the agency which the federal government with responsibility over what the president needs to report publicly about his assets, was puzzled by this, it seems, and they were skeptical that a retainer was actually in place and asked to see the retainer agreement on call of May 8th with the president. The president's personal counsel, Sherry Dillon, replied that she would, and I quote, not permit OGE staff to read the agreement because it is privileged. Ms. Dillon would not even let OGE staff come to her office to review the retainer agreement. Mr. Cohen, in a court filing made in August of last year, federal prosecutors stated that, quote, in truth and in fact, there was no such retainer agreement. Mr. Cohen, did you ever have a retainer agreement in place with the president for the payment to Ms. Clifford?
No.
So was Mr. Giuliani's statement inaccurate?
Yes.
Was Ms. Dillon's statement about the retainer agreement inaccurate?
I'm sorry, Ms. Dillon's statement is?
About the retainer agreement, is it inaccurate?
And her statement is what?
And her statement to them was, quote, not to permit OGE staff to read the agreement because it is privileged.
There was no agreement.
And is the president's tweet or his statement accurate?
And I'm sorry, one more time.
And his statement was, Mr. Cohen, an attorney, received a monthly retainer, not from the campaign and having nothing to do with the campaign, from which he entered in through a reimbursement.
That's not accurate.
You've mentioned some individuals to my colleague from New York, Ms. Connolly, and also in your testimony about Mr. Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Are they with the Trump Organization?
They
and
are.
Are there other people that we should be meeting with?
So Alan Weisselberg is the chief financial officer.
Uh-huh.
The
You got to
Trump
quickly give us
Organization.
as many names as you can so we can get to them.
Yes, ma'am.
As Ms. Rona, what is Ms. Rona's position?
Rona Graff is Mr. Trump's executive assistant.
And would she be able to corroborate many of the statements that you've made here?
Yes, her office is directly next to his, and she's involved in a lot that went on.
Okay, Mr. Cohen, when the president's lawyers were having the discussions with the Office of Government Ethics in 2018, did they reach out to you to talk with you about these payments?
No, ma'am.
And what did you share anything with them otherwise in any other conversation?
I do not recall, no.
Can the committee obtain more information about these facts by obtaining testimony and documents from the White House, the Trump Organization, and the president's attorneys?
I believe so.
Mr. Chair, I think that those are the individuals that we should be speaking with, and I yield back at this time.
So the point in question here is Jeffrey Epstein texted a congresswoman for basically this information. So would it be Epstein going against Trump, basically saying, "Hey, make sure you ask him because this person's going to point you where everything is," or is it just smoke and mirrors and they're doing something illegal? I hate to say it. This really feels like yesterday. Maybe I'm getting old, but this doesn't feel like 7 years ago. But let's get back to it.
And I understand you're saying, look, he was a constituent, right? And whether or not they're good or bad, you're just trying to get information to get to the truth. But at this time, this was happening after he had already pleaded guilty to state prostitution charges. And then there was that Miami Herald article that came out in 2018 detailing how widespread the sexual abuse was, interviewing 80 women who said that he sexually abused her. So, abused them, I should say. So I'm wondering, as you look back, do you think that it was an error in judgment to be communicating with him at all? Do you have any regrets?
Well, listen, I think Jeffrey Epstein is a reprehensible person, absolutely disgusting. I lived in a house during childhood with a mother who had been sexually abused by her dad. And I know the effect that that had on her, as well as us as her family. And so I understand what the victims are going through, and I want them to get their their justice, their peace out of this. I believe that Jeffrey Epstein had information, and I was going to get information to get at the truth. Having a friendship with him is not something that I would deem to have. And so I'm just looking forward. I'm moving forward. And I think that that's what we as American people should do, is move forward. If individuals are not involved in illegal activity, extending his criminal enterprise or his financial enterprise or all of those things, I think that we need to look at what people are doing moving forward.
Wait, let me just better understand that. What is that point? Because at the time he was a known sex offender and it had been detailed all the sexual abuse.
There are a lot of people who have done a lot of crimes, and as a prosecutor, you get information from people where you can. I've interviewed confidential informants, I've interviewed narcotics, drug traffickers, and others, and that doesn't mean that I'm their friend. That doesn't mean that they are friendly with me. It means that they have information that I need, and that I'm trying to get at the truth, and that's what I did.
So no regrets, basically, is what you're saying.
I'm moving forward.
Before I let you go, Congresswoman, and I call you Congresswoman, you're a non-voting delegate.
Well, limited voting. We vote in committee, vote on amendments on the floor, but not in full vote. Thank you.
Congresswoman, let's talk a little bit about this visit by Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudi crown prince. You're on the Intelligence Committee. You're well informed. Yesterday, President Trump was strongly defending him in the Oval Office as far as the murder of the Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi. And he was saying basically he knew nothing about this, the murder or anything, even though the CIA had reported at the time that there was strong evidence that the Crown Prince personally ordered the murder of this journalist. What's your reaction?
Well, my reaction is that the president that we have in office right now is more interested in financial gain and pecuniary interests than he is in other things, whether that be continuing to have the moral high ground or us, engaging in the manner that we should. Should he meet with this world leader? Yes. Should he be feting him or giving him a pass on past transgressions? I believe not.
I think that's a knock with CNN sometimes. To be fair, is that they kind of always lead with something that's going to jab the president instead of staying on topic for what the issue is, right? And I said it on the earlier stream that it's not uncommon to have people or citizens or people who are connected texting members of Congress or elected officials while they're in committee, while things like that happen, right? It's not unheard of, right? And I think the greater part of it is the narrative that's being played. But even from the questioning, it seemed more like a tip than anything. Now, I haven't read through it by itself. I mean, I have other clients and other things to worry about. And actually, that's not a main focus of mine because I think it's mainly a distraction from issues. But this is at least some of the hot button breaking news in politics, Black culture, Black politicians, things of that nature. But it taps in. And one of those is, as you may have heard, the representative that's going to be on the screen next, Sheila Creflos McCormick. Now, the congresswoman from Florida, South Florida, represents a community I grew up in, Palm Beach. And the biggest thing of it is, I knew people, hey, I haven't been checking the chat. Who's that? Hold on. I know people that were actually in this race, but I don't have a dog in the fight right now, right? But hey, Gwen. But at the end of the day, you can't go taking $5 million worth of FEMA money to register people for COVID relief. And because it was overpayment, you had a $50,000 contract, think that you were going to all of a sudden go win. And I think the other part of that is, I said it on the stream earlier, is a part of when you ran. I posted a video from that stream on the channel, so you can go check that out. It's one of my latest videos posted. Is you can't go taking not even that. You can't go run with $40,000 in 2018, $70,000 in 2020, and $6 million in 2021. As if it's not going to raise red flags.
Any thoughts on the indictment, please?
Wait, and this is the Congresswoman's first response after the indictment dropped yesterday. So this is going to be a long story that I'm going to make sure I tap into because it's Florida, it's Palm Beach. I understand the gerrymander district and I understand the implications of this, but Let's hear the Congresswoman's response.
Your thoughts on the indictment, please.
Well, it's an unjust indictment, and it seems like these intimidation tactics have been pervasive. We spent all week seeing different members getting censured, all in hopes of intimidating and kind of distracting from the Epstein files. And I look forward to my day in court so I can prove myself and actually state the truth. But if this is what Congress is becoming, where they're always trying to intimidate you, scare tactics, especially attacking minorities, black and brown people, then we're going to have to keep fighting for the district. And everybody has been giving me so much support, and we're going to keep fighting until the district gets what it needs, which is fair prices, housing, and fair representation of Congress.
Did
so
you
thank you so much.
improperly
What's your
use
response to the
funds?
calls from some of your colleagues to step down or resign?
They didn't elect me. It was my district, and so we'll keep fighting for the people and keep working like we're doing now until they get what they need. So we're here for the people. So the only people who elected me should make that decision. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Listen, they're about to snatch ass up out of Congress. Congressman Greg Steube, former senator in the state of Florida, has already filed a bill to basically say, listen, you got to get up out of here. Bye. Go fight it in court. And here's the thing. You can have your day in court, but you settled with the state to repay the $5 million that was overpaid over 15 years. So that settlement, come on now. Come on, what are we talking about? That's absolutely crazy. Hold on, gotta sneeze. Excuse me. I don't know where that came from, y'all. Let's check this out.
After this week of censures and back and forth over that, Congressman Don Beyer and Don Bacon introduced a proposal to increase the threshold for approving that. Is that something you would support?
Don Beyer is an extraordinary and thoughtful member of Congress. We haven't had the conversation about this issue, but I'm open-minded about what the possibilities are in terms of getting the Congress out of this repeated effort by Republicans to censure members, because these extremists in the House Republican Conference have nothing better to do. That's what this week has proven. They were forced to vote on a bill to compel the Department of Justice to release the Epstein files, and they were reluctantly supportive after House Democrats partnering with a handful of House Republicans triggered an up or down vote through a discharge petition. Other than that vote, what have Republicans done to make life better or meet the needs of the American people in any way, shape, or form throughout this Congress? The answer is nada, nothing. They've done nothing. And so all their members do is cook up these unhinged censure resolutions, literally week after week after week. That's all they do, which is why they're deeply in trouble. Donald Trump's approval rating is like 38, 39% across the board, including from Fox News. And the American people know that Democrats are the party who actually care about addressing the affordability crisis, driving down the high cost of living, fixing our broken health care system, extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits, and actually standing up for working class Americans. Now that—
How many times do you say that until you feel that people gonna believe that shit? I don't believe that shit. I'm sorry.
That is decisively clear to the American people. We've seen that in the electoral results early this month, where Republicans were crushed, shellacked, beaten
in Democratic states. Now, there was a win in Mississippi to break the supermajority, which means you have 2/3 majority. But even if you break the 2/3 majority, you still have majority. So what did the Democrats really win? Because it's not like there was a Republican mayor in New York City, Virginia, New Jersey, Democrats did what they did in blue states. We don't want to have that conversation.
Down all across America, with the common thread being their extremism and our emphasis on affordability. And now we've seen that the American people are ready to throw these House Republicans out of their majority. And it's incredible to me that despite where we are, after all the talk from Republicans that they somehow had earned some big historic mandate, can't find it, search committee has been sent out, no one can find it, it's been destroyed. That you would think Republicans would actually hear the American people in terms of their desire to work on issues that matter. And instead, we continue to see censure resolution after censure resolution after censure resolution, and they can't even succeed in censuring the people they're going after. What have Republicans?
Yeah, that's. Hakeem Jeffries just like clickbait at this point, to be honest. To be dead real with you. Let me see what my girl was talking about. I meant to watch this thing earlier with Al Green, but not really.
If we've learned anything this year is that congressional Republicans are more interested in serving Donald Trump than they are in serving their constituents. Over the past 10 months, they have given away permanent tax cuts to the wealthiest people on earth, demolished half of the White House, pardoned violent insurrectionists, significantly driven up cost of living across the country, and then given themselves a taxpayer-funded 8-week vacation, all so that they could delay as long as possible Congress voting to release the Epstein files. And now they're trying to gaslight you into believing that you should trust them on crime policy. They want you to believe that living in a police state is a good or normal thing. They want you to be okay with having armed soldiers and federal agents monitor you as you shop for groceries or take your children to school. They want you to think that you won't be affected. But we've already seen Americans detained, arrested, injured, and some nearly killed because of this administration's reckless approach to handling crime. And they're doing all of this without acknowledging the fact that Republican-led states are experiencing a murder and crime and violent crime crisis, and they have for the last 2 decades. The Republicans' murder state rates were 33% higher than Democratic state murder rates in both 21 and 2022. In fact, in the past 22 years, the Republican state murder rates were nearly a quarter higher compared to states that are led by Democrats. Even when you remove Democratic cities and counties from the Republican states' data, their murder rate is still nearly a quarter higher than states run by Democrats. Ms. Levine, how long have you studied crime?
Damn.
You're going to have me show my age. Is that nice?
It doesn't show on your face, honey. That's all that matters.
Let's just say about 3 decades.
Okay, very good. So would you agree that factors like poverty, lax gun laws, and a lack of public services can lead to higher crime rates?
Yes, I agree with that.
According to the Census Bureau, states with the highest poverty rates are disproportionately Republican governed and often have laxer gun laws and less public services. Wouldn't you agree that these factors are likely why Republican-led states have higher murder rates than Democratic states?
I would. In fact, I would like to lift up some research from one of our faculty members, Dr. Robert Apel. He recently conducted a study looking at the relationship between levels and quality of public assistance and crime, and found that there is the relationship in the expected direction, that is, lower public assistance, more crime, more recidivism.
Thank you so much for that. So not only are you likely to be a victim of violent crime in a Republican-led state, you're now less likely to receive victim assistance because of Republicans cutting resources for food, shelter, and transportation. This is what Donald Trump's America looks like. Never let a wannabe tyrant convince you that the only way for you to be safe is to live under a police state where he controls your day-to-day activities by means of military or armed federal agents. That's what we call a dictatorship. And I just want to be clear, because I appreciate what you just brought up, because I did serve as a public defender and a court-appointed attorney. So as we sat here, I remembered that one of the witnesses' opening statements, they mentioned the word why. And as Michael Jackson used to sing, why? What? We have not dealt with the why. We have not dealt with why crime happens. And if you understand the why, then maybe you can come to a conclusion. But as someone who has sat there with people that were too poor to be able to afford their own attorneys, I can tell you some whys. But what I am going to do is talk to you about why the idea that incarceration is the only thing that can fix anything, and the fact that we have two witnesses that are telling us that we need to go back to the '94 crime bill when we learned that all that did was drive up incarceration. It didn't drive down addiction, because addiction is actually an illness, but that's a whole other issue. And you can't incarcerate your way out of an illness, just like you can't incarcerate somebody that has cancer and believe that somehow they now will be cured. But I digress. What I will tell you is that we also know that the U.S. has the highest incarceration rate of any independent democracy on earth. Worse, every single state incarcerates more people per capita than most nations. In the global context, even progressive U.S. states like New York and Massachusetts appear to be extreme, just like Louisiana and Mississippi. In addition to that, the United States has the highest incarceration rate, the highest average firearms per 100 people, highest homicides per 100,000 people, and the lowest safety and securing rate of 12 countries in comparison. I had a 17-year-old that was charged with stealing food out of the concession stand at his high school. Unfortunately, in the state of Texas, at the age of 17, you are considered an adult. So what did they do? They decided to charge him with burglary of a habitation. He had an attorney that was not me when he went through this. They put him on felony probation. Ultimately, they revoked his probation because he was too poor to show up to his actual probation officer, as his mom was the one who was required to take off work so that she could take him in. I'm gonna wrap up, but this is really important for people to understand. At the end of the day, they ended up giving my kid the maximum punishment for less than $20 worth of candy that he stole out of the concession stand. Ultimately, I told them that it was a mistake to send him to prison. When he went to prison, he learned how to be a criminal. That's where he learns how to cook meth. The next time that I saw him, it was because he had committed a real crime. Ultimately, all that did was harm our communities. And I will be clear, this was a poor young man, but he was not black. So, and this was in rural Texas.
Time is
this
expired.
was East Texas.
Time is
so I want to
expired.
be smart about what we do with crime, and I want to make sure that
Time
we
is
are putting our
expired.
money in smart places. Thank you so much for
I think what gets missed in the narrative sometimes, I see some of the chat popping off, is the fact that these are real issues and people are speaking about. But because of politics, people don't want to buy into it. Now, I want to get into something that I just heard about today. You know, too much headlines going on, but I'm going to go to the Pam Bondi press conference because I didn't know Ryan Wedding was tapped in like that.
Criminal enterprise. He's currently on the FBI National Criminal Enterprise. He's currently on the FBI's, and has been, top 10 most wanted list. He controls one of the most prolific and violent drug trafficking organizations in this world. He is currently the largest distributor of cocaine in Canada.
That's crazy.
Wedding collaborates closely with the Sinaloa cartel,
That's
a foreign terrorist
crazy.
organization, to flood not only American but also Canadian communities with cocaine coming from Colombia. His organization is responsible for importing approximately 60 metric tons of cocaine a year into Los Angeles via semi-trucks from Mexico. To put that in perspective, 60 metric tons is approximately the weight of 40 standard cars. Imagine that. That's how much cocaine.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're talking about, wasn't he skiing? What the fuck?
The weight of 40 cars he is bringing into our country a year. In the course of the investigation, more than 35 individuals have been indicted. Over 2,000 kilos and numerous weapons have been seized. Approximately $3.2 million in cryptocurrency has been recovered, and over $13 million in physical assets has been confiscated. Wedding is also
Pushing on.
accused of murdering a federal witness after he was indicted in 2024.
That's fucking crazy.
He used a Canadian website called The Dirty News to post photographs of the witness and his wife in order to locate him, which ultimately succeeded.
What the fuck?
The witness was gunned down in a restaurant in Medellin before he could testify against Wedding. Today, we're unsealing a new indictment, charging Wedding with 2 additional counts of witness tampering and intimidation, murder, money laundering, and drug trafficking. The website that was used to hunt down this witness and his wife, that has since been removed, that has been deleted. Protecting federal witnesses from retaliation is core to the department's mission. It's about individual safety, but more, it's about protecting the rule of law itself. The new indictment also includes several other individuals involved in the murder of the witness and other crimes in connection with this criminal enterprise. You're going to be hearing more about that from the people behind me. We're working very closely with our partners at the State Department and the Department of Treasury. The State Department has raised the reward for Ryan Wedding from $10 million to $15 million. We're offering $2 million rewards for information leading to the arrest of those involved in the murder of the witness. The Treasury Department's Foreign Asset Control is seizing assets belonging to approximately 19 of the targets associated with Wedding's criminal enterprise, worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I want to thank the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California, as well as our Canadian law enforcement partners for their steadfast commitment to bring Ryan Wedding to justice. I also want to thank the Colombian National Police, who have greatly helped us. Let me be clear, drugs are killing our kids. Whether you are a street-level drug dealer, a common street-level drug dealer, or an international drug kingpin, we are coming for you, we will find you, and you will be accountable and held to justice for your crimes. It's killing our kids, it's killing our friends, it's killing our relatives, and this guy is responsible for a tremendous amount of that horror. President Trump gave us one mission: make America safe again. And we will not sit idly by and let these drug dealers continue to do business, run roughshod on our neighborhoods, and put the American people and our Canadian people in harm's way. To the American people, the Justice Department will use every tool available to catch these monsters. Thank you to all of our partners in this fight. From day one, Ryan Wedding has been on the top of Director Patel's radar to get him. We have talked about him constantly, and I'd now like to introduce Director Patel, who has done a tremendous job in his efforts to catch these monsters. Director Patel.
Thank you, General. As the Attorney General stated, our mission since the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General and this tremendous team was assembled by President Trump is to safeguard American lives. Already this year, thanks to the Department of Justice's leadership, in combination with the interagency, including this FBI, have seized record amounts of narcotics, to include record amounts of cocaine, including record amounts of fentanyl. All of these narcotics are enabled by our enemies to go after our youth and our communities and kill and destroy American civilization. Under President Trump's leadership, we have been shutting that down since day one. As the Attorney General mentioned, this is an indictment, an additional indictment, an arrest of multiple subjects, nearly a dozen more, and that brings a total to approximately 36 indicted. And you'll hear the details from the tremendous team established here by the Attorney General. Most importantly, you do not get to be a drug kingpin and evade the law. Make no mistake about it. Ryan Wedding is a modern-day iteration of Pablo Escobar. He's a modern-day iteration of El Chapo Guzman. This Justice Department and this FBI will work with our Canadian counterparts and the government officials across the world to.
I ain't never seen no El Chapo in no Olympics.
To bring him to justice. He is responsible for engineering a narco trafficking and narco terrorism program that we have not seen in a long time. He will not evade justice. We are here today because this Department of Justice, behind Attorney General's brilliant leadership and the Deputy Attorney General, have made it clear to the American people with the indictments they have brought that law enforcement and agencies like this FBI will lead the effort to go out there and make sure these animals are brought to justice. And that's exactly what we will do. This step, this interagency step, is a huge, huge step towards obtaining justice for so many American lives lost and so many American lives saved. Thanks to the courageous efforts of law enforcement. This is what a great team looks like, working together for the American people under the motto that President Trump set forth to make America safe again. It's incredibly humbling for this FBI to be a part of it and to lead out the efforts on Ryan Wedding. And for those of you out there that have any information on Ryan Wedding, now is the time to speak up. Now is the time to help us. This FBI has always engaged the public around the world for their assistance in bringing some of the world's most dangerous criminals and terrorists to justice. And we are doing so again today. He will not evade justice. He will not evade our capture. He will not evade arrest, and he will not evade prosecution. Because of the Attorney General's leadership here today, we are taking a huge, huge step in that direction. And I'm honored to be a part of this FBI and leading its men and women in law enforcement on a daily basis. It's really one of the best things I've ever encountered. And the team.
You needed a card to read that? Y'all see it, right? 826. Let me go. I can go back that far. This is how unauthentic this shit is. Watch this.
On a daily basis. It's really one of the best things I've ever encountered. And the teamwork is something I just want to stress more than.
How your team supposed to believe it if you're reading off a card? This guy's face been stuck the whole time. Can y'all even see that? Did I set that up? No, never mind. Y'all can't see.
Anything. Our federal, state, and local partners have bonded together like never before to bring you these results that we've talked about these last 8-9 months. And today is just yet another example of a historic achievement for the Trump administration in safeguarding American lives. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to the Assistant Director in charge of our Los Angeles field office, Akil Davis, for some more details about the FBI's work. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Akil Davis, Assistant Director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles Division. Today we are here to highlight the success of the FBI's Homeland Security Task Force in which this operation fell under. Our Homeland Security Task Force is made up of several federal agencies along with state and local counterparts. We work closely with RCMP, as you're going to hear from later, to target the Ryan Wedding drug trafficking organization.
This is crazy.
Make no mistake, Ryan Wedding is extremely dangerous. He's extremely violent and he's extremely wealthy. He's being protected by the Sinaloa cartel along with others in the country of Mexico. We will find him and we will bring him to justice. He is so important to the efforts of the United States government that the State Department has put up a $15 million reward for his capture. Let me say that again, a $15 million reward for his capture. Ryan Wedding has orchestrated murders against his rivals, against cooperating witnesses, against anybody that crosses his path.
That's crazy.
And as you've heard already, he has trafficked record levels of drugs, fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, all the things that are rampant on our streets. He has been a part of that and a main cause of that. And that is why you see so much resources dedicated to dismantling his organization, which we have done mostly here today.
I hate to say this real quick. This man was an Olympian. Is an Olympian still. I don't know if you could strip it out after you already been, right? That's fucking crazy to me. Like Pablo Escobar in the Olympics? The fuck?
We will capture Ryan Wedding. We will bring him to justice. If you have information leading to his capture, you can contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI or tips.fbi.gov. Make no mistake, Ryan Wedding is dangerous. Do not approach him on your own. Please call us and let us do our job. Thank you. I will now turn it over to United States Attorney Bill Asaley.
Bill Asaley came from California to be here today. That's how important this case is. And President Trump, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, and I are thrilled to have Bill Asaley on our team. I think Deputy Attorney General Blanche talks to Bill Asaley daily, and I talk to him at least once a week. He is doing an incredible job to keep America safe and to keep Californians safe. So it's my honor now to have Bill join us.
Wow to me, y'all.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm Bill Asaley. I am the first assistant U.S. attorney at the Central District of California, the leader of that office. As the Attorney General said, today an indictment was unsealed against Ryan James Wedding, a former snowboarder who was once an Olympic athlete and who is now on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list and the subject of a $15 million reward. Wedding and 14 other defendants, including a Canadian lawyer and a Latin pop star, are federally charged with orchestrating the January 2025 murder of a witness who was shot 5 times in the head at a restaurant in Colombia and who died instantly. Wedding placed a bounty on the victim's head in the erroneous belief that the victim's death would result in the dismissal of criminal charges against him and his international drug trafficking ring, and would further ensure that he was not extradited to the United States. He was wrong. The murder also involved a Canadian website, as the Attorney General discussed, which claimed to be a news outlet. This so-called news outlet, the Dirty News, was paid by a co-defendant to post a photograph of the victim, witness, and his wife online so that he could be hunted down and killed. Law enforcement yesterday seized that website pursuant to a judicially authorized warrant. That website no longer exists. I want to say this to Mr. Wedding and to the other defendants involved in his drug trafficking organization. Your days are numbered. Our agents and prosecutors will relentlessly pursue you and anyone who assists you and bring you to justice, not just anywhere. We're going to bring you to justice in the United States of America. And I want to just add a couple things here. Mr. Wedding is the most prolific cocaine trafficker in Canada, but he used Southern California, my district, as a hub for his logistics to move the cocaine. The reason he selected California is because of California's weak laws on crime. They knew if they were popped with cocaine in California, they probably wouldn't get much of a sentence. But they made one big miscalculation. They didn't think about us, the U.S. Department of Justice, Attorney General Bondi, and what this administration would do to individuals like him who use the United States to traffic their drugs.
Did the laws change? Or did the administration change? I'm just trying to figure that out. I wasn't trying to smell the back of my ear either. It was trying to be funny. I mean, what happened? Because if you're a prosecutor there, 40 cars worth of cocaine. And you're blaming what? Come on, man.
And he will be brought to justice. I'm confident of that. I want to note the lawyer that we arrested yesterday. We arrested 12 people yesterday in an international takedown. You're going to hear more about that. One of which is his lawyer in Canada. His lawyer advised him to kill this witness. His lawyer told him if you kill this witness, the case would be dismissed. That lawyer is now in custody, and he'll be extradited and brought to justice here in the United States. So all this to say, it doesn't matter who you are or where you are. When the United States government and this Department of Justice decides we're going after someone, we're going to get you. America always gets its guy. And let me tell you this as well. Not only do we have a mandate from the Attorney General and as the Attorney General and the FBI Director said, to make America safe again by the President, through this operation today, we're making North America safe again. And with that, I'll turn it over to Chris Landberg, Senior Bureau Official at the Department of State.
Great, thank you.
They got everybody coming to speak.
Good morning.
Gonna stay here
So I'm
all
Chris
the time,
Lamberg,
but
head
Bonnie.
of the International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Bureau at the Department of State. I want to thank the Attorney General for hosting us today for this important event. So today, the Department of State, as you've heard, is continuing to fulfill one of President Trump's first promises when he took office, to stop the brutal criminals who are trafficking deadly drugs into our country. In coordination with the FBI and our partners in Mexico and Canada, the Department of State is increasing our reward offer, as you have heard, to up to $15 million for information leading to the arrest and or conviction of Ryan James Wedding.
I think that's the other thing. When maybe I'm racist. You know, they say black people are the racists for real, right? Let me know in the chat. But when they said people were bringing the drugs in illegally, I didn't think they were Caucasians from Canada. I'm sorry. I didn't think there would be this guy. An Olympian? In Pablo Escobar in the Olympics? That's crazy to me. I knew about the gangs. I knew they busted El Chapo's son. But I didn't think it was no fucking Olympian. I didn't know that's who else was they supposed to look for? Michael Phelps? I remember one of the swimmers went down there and busted somebody's head up in the gas station. He was from Florida, I believe, but I didn't know what's going down in the Olympic Village.
This is a $5 million increase from our previous reward offer.
This is wild.
Wedding abandoned an Olympic-level athletic path for depraved violence and cocaine trafficking. He worked closely with the foreign terrorist organization Sinaloa Cartel, as you've heard, to traffic bulk quantities of cocaine from South America to the United States and Canada. As you have also heard, his heinous crimes did not end there. In January 2025, Wedding allegedly ordered the murder of a U.S. federal witness in Medellin, Colombia. In addition to our focus on taking down Wedding, we are offering rewards up to $2 million each for information leading to the unknown assassins responsible for that January 2025 murder. We hope the public will recognize these criminals from surveillance photographs taken the day of the assassination in Medellin and will come forward to identify them. These brazen, illegal activities will be stopped, and the State Department will continue to apply all its tools, including rewards programs, to pursue violent criminals, drug traffickers, and those who assist narco-terrorist organizations. We will continue to build a stronger, safer, and more prosperous hemisphere in the Americas by ensuring that no one, not even former Olympians, is above the law. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to introduce John Hurley, Undersecretary for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence at the
No, I'm tired of all that. I'm going to go back to Pam Bondi because we ain't trying to hear all that. Because I have to go to Donnie after this. Getting late.
It looks at Operation Giant Slalom. Thank you for your partnership and protecting Canadians, Americans, and people around the world.
Thank you. There's one thing I wanted to add. This is an announcement, and we're up on a hard stop. We can take a few questions if you have them. But first, wait, I want, Director Patel, will you add something about his description for us, please? I don't know if we really got that he could also change his description, or Akil. Go ahead. Thanks.
We turn those around. Yeah.
Yes, let's turn these around.
Ryan Wedding is approximately 6'4" and 230 to 250 pounds. As you see in these pictures here, please understand that he might change his hair color, his appearance, and do anything to avoid capture. But someone like Ryan Wedding is going to stick out in Mexico. And that is why we're soliciting the public's help to try to identify, locate him, and arrest him. Again, there's a $15 million reward for information leading to his arrest and capture. Thank you.
You get somebody.
General Bondi,
Cartel scare everybody.
on topic first, it was mentioned that the Sinaloa cartel is helping to protect him. Are Mexican authorities cooperating with the U.S. and helping to secure his arrest? And I also have an off topic as well.
Yes, it's a short answer. Do you want to add something, Akil?
Sure. We are working with our legal attaché office housed at the embassy in Mexico City to try to locate and arrest Wedding. Again, through to significant protection by the Sinaloa cartel and others, that has been difficult.
And that's why it's so important that you get his picture out there. He could change his hair color. He could change his appearance. You know, he's got some powerful people protecting him. But this is $1 billion a year of drugs that he is charged with being responsible for. $1 billion. Go ahead, now, off topic.
On the Epstein files, does the new investigation by the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney prevent the department from releasing all of the remaining files?
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
What are the next steps, Madam Attorney General, for the DOJ regarding what we assume President Trump will sign into law with the Epstein files? Is this going to be on the Justice Department website? What are you doing here over the next 30 days as we understand it?
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency while protecting victims.
When you say follow the law, Madam Attorney General, do you mean that you will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
To that. Madam Attorney General, the DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files would not release mentioned the fact that the review of the documents and the evidence did not suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information. There's information new information, additional information, and again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward, and we will continue to provide maximum transparency under the law.
Wedding, Madam General. On Ryan Wedding, you mentioned, Madam Attorney General, the issue with the new information that you just indicated, is the department seeking information perhaps from the Epstein estate because Mr. Blanche did not have that information when he interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell? What new information, and would you limit the new investigation to just those named persons that the president talked about, or is this a broad, open-ended investigation?
I would refer to the Deputy Attorney General's post that he put out on X, and we're not going to say anything else on that because now it is a pending investigation in the Southern District of New York. You're on.
We love the Muslims. None of them are voting for you, you prick. Literally.
My bad. Pause up. I'm going to say, y'all.
Hard stop. One more question?
Sure.
President Trump has previously said that he may consider authorizing military strikes within Mexico to go after cartels. Given the importance of this case, I'm wondering if the DOD has been engaged on the search for Ryan.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss anything with the Department of War right now, but right now I will tell you it is the Treasury Department, the State Department, our office, the FBI, working with Canadian authorities and working with the Mexican authorities hand in hand. And that includes the Mexican military.
You had one more on wedding.
Sure.
CBC, you mentioned a Canadian lawyer. If you can tell us more about it, the extradition of a Canadian lawyer. And also a question for Commissioner Michael Duhem on 7 other individuals who are linked to Ryan Wedding. If we can tell us on the extradition, what are the next steps?
Sure. Do you want to take the Canadian? I think Bill will take the attorney because that attorney is being prosecuted in California, and then I'll turn it over to Director Duhay.
And that's actually the end of this. I don't know if y'all want to hear the end of that. I think the Ryan Wedding piece is quite crazy. I don't have any pictures queued up to kind of go through that, but I did queue up Mayor Mamdani walking to his press conference. Now tomorrow, as you see, the mayor there walking up, he has a press conference, a meeting with President Trump, 3 o'clock tomorrow in the White House. It's closed off to the press, but I'm hoping something changes. There'll be a narrative out there. There'll be something out there, but we're going to get ready to see. This is Hamilton right here. Alexander Hamilton. Waiting in the wings for you. Know what you overcame. Never did know your name.
Morning, everyone.
Everyone set? Good? All right. I will be heading to Washington, D.C. tomorrow to meet with President Trump in the White House. It is customary for an incoming mayor of this city to meet with the White House, given the mutual reliance. It's more critical than ever, given the national crisis of affordability, one that New Yorkers know very well across these 5 boroughs, and the specific challenge many cities are facing with balancing public safety against steps taken by this administration. I know that for tens of thousands of New Yorkers, this meeting is between 2 very different candidates who they voted for the same reason. They wanted a leader who would take on the cost of living crisis that makes it impossible for working people to afford living in this city. My team reached out to the White House to set up this meeting because I will work with anyone to make life more affordable for the more than 8.5 million people who call this city home. I have many disagreements with the president, and I believe that we should be relentless and pursue all avenues and all meetings that could make our city affordable for every single New Yorker. I intend to make it clear to President Trump that I will work with him on any agenda that benefits New Yorkers. If an agenda hurts New Yorkers, I will also be the first to say so. Thank you.
All right, let's start with Martha right here.
Yeah, none of these questions. I hate that.
This is an opportunity to make the case for New Yorkers. And it's a case that reflects what New Yorkers are having to live through at this time. When we speak about an affordability crisis, we're speaking about 1 in 4 New Yorkers living in poverty, 1 in 5 struggling to afford $2.90 to ride the bus. New Yorkers for whom the daily acts of life are becoming increasingly harder to afford. And that's an opportunity I have to make the case to President Trump, to the White House, as to what it means to have to suffer through this affordability crisis and what it means to make it even more difficult to do so.
I hope they open it to the press.
I'm wondering,
It will have 1,000 people watching with us tomorrow, though.
a little belittling. I'm wondering, are you concerned that this meeting will actually bear any sort of fruit, or whether it will be another opportunity for him to try to publicly embarrass you? And could you go into any specifics about what you specifically want to ask him, or any specific requests you have for the president in this meeting?
I'm not concerned about this meeting. I view this meeting as an opportunity for me to make my case. And I'll make that case to anyone, frankly, as we've been doing over the course of the campaign, and now as I will be the next mayor of this city. It behooves me to ensure that I leave no stone unturned in looking to make the city more affordable. And this is a meeting where I look forward to speaking about the affordability agenda, public safety, and economic security for each and every person that calls the city home.
I can't hit none of these questions, y'all. It's crazy.
I see the implication being that every commissioner should be a fierce advocate for those that work for their department or their agency. And I look forward to ensuring that that is the case across the entirety of my administration, where when I have a meeting with a commissioner, I know that they are bringing forth the concerns of those that they work with, those that they represent, so that we can ensure that we're actually addressing those concerns. No, this was not a copy of an email that we needed because, frankly, we've been having discussions about the agenda that we share, and I'm not looking to micromanage every single person that works for me. I'm looking to trust them to do their job and know that ultimately I'll be responsible for the work that they and everyone in my city hall does. Thank you.
You were there at the meeting last night, but it's being reported that you're supportive of Fred Lander
Alexander Hamilton. They are waiting in the wings for you.
I can confirm to you the things that I've actually said and the things that I've actually done. And last night, I spoke to DSA members, sharing the same message that I've shared in public as well, which is that I do not believe this is the right time to wage this primary.
Hey.
Right now, my plans are to meet with the president and make the case. As soon as I have any more information, I'll share it.
Come downstairs, man.
Well, I'll be ready for whatever happens.
Yeah, right here.
Talk to that president.
Where you might find some common ground on.
Sorry, would you mind saying that one more time?
Sure. Do you have any sense in advance where you might find common ground with the president on the agenda and the case that you want to present? And where do you think you might have the most success with it?
You know, last year, after the president won his second term, I went to two of the neighborhoods that saw the largest swings towards Republicans. And that was Hillside Avenue in Queens and Fordham Road in the Bronx. And when I asked those New Yorkers who they voted for and why, I met many who voted for President Trump, and they told me it was the affordability crisis. It was cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. And they said that they remembered being able to afford their rent, their childcare, their Con Ed, their public transit more 4 years ago than they could in that moment. And we ran a campaign focused on the same thing, cost of living. And what we found actually is that 1 in 10 New Yorkers who voted for Trump ended up voting for our campaign. And they did so because they're looking for leaders to actually deliver on the cost of living crisis. That's why everything comes back to making the case for an affordability agenda. I will meet with anyone, I will speak to everyone, so long as it could stand to benefit an economic agenda for New Yorkers. And that's where I will always make the case.
Mr. Malik, how are you?
Hey, how's it going? You're not cold?
Got a jacket.
Yeah.
So you appointed Jessica Tisch as your next police commissioner yesterday. You've been talking about all the things where you agree on, right?
It's bad as I want to finish this stream. I gotta put my son back to bed. It's almost 2 in the morning. Oh, I appreciate all y'all tapping in tonight, man. Y'all see that this is not ideal on how we scripted the show. We were having a good vibe. Over 400 of y'all here with me till 2 in the morning. I really do appreciate it. I forgot to ask, because he's not complaining yet. Hold on, is my mic on? Yeah. Where are we tapping? Where are we watching the stream in from tonight? Like, I'm in Florida. Let me know what you did. Where you watching in from today? More than anything, I gotta go be a dad, right? So if you haven't subscribed, liked, just go ahead and like and subscribe. I'll be back on. Make sure you hit the notification bell. But more than anything,
all I ask is when you lay your head on that pillow at night, I gave you everything I had.
I gave you everything I had. Now, tonight's stream was interrupted. The little man woke up. It's about 2 in the morning. But let me check the stats. Hold on. We got to check the stats, Doug. Hold on. We've had over 42,000 people, over 300 of y'all here with us right now. Man, y'all have a great night. Don't touch the mic. Say good night.
Night.
You got to say it a little louder. Say good night.
Good night.
All right, good night, y'all. Y'all be safe. Have a good one. And we'll see y'all tomorrow.